then it kind of, I went, so I think there was a command, right? Like some phone kind of, and I happened to be underneath it.
Right, good morning. Ms. Prenga, we are live. We are streaming. You may proceed with this morning's public executive review session.
Good morning, everyone. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session for April 28th, 2026. No public testimony will be permitted during the review session. Please note for the record, Vice Chair Shibeta and Commissioner Sheta are not present today. Chair, we do have 2 second call items from yesterday. When do you want to call those?
Yes, let's start with the decision item, Baisley.
Okay.
And we will start with the review session for Tuesday, all the zoning cases. And at the end of the zoning cases, we will do the SOC item from the new case, which is 1225 East to 233rd.
Okay, thank you. So we will start with a decision item from yesterday, which was item number 12 on the agenda, calendar number 2025-23BZ 161-61 Baisley Boulevard, Queens.
Okay. So at the yesterday, we had asked the applicant to clarify the AVC analysis, which was done, and the drawings have been revised accordingly. Did everybody have a chance to review it? Okay. All right. I also, in the submission, the prior submission, the plan was revised in response to some of the board's comments, including provided direct access from all the 4 business operations from the rear to access the trash enclosure. Okay. All right. So I then want to make a motion to approve with the following conditions. The site shall maintain a minimum 10 reservoir spaces as illustrated on the BSA approved plan. Under no circumstances shall the operator allow motor vehicle queues to spill back onto Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, including blockage of the sidewalk because of the operational and safety concerns, and appropriate signage shall be maintained advising of the same. If the above condition fails to be met during operation of the facility and no other additional corrective measures can reasonably be implemented by the operator, then and in consultation with the New York City DOT and DOB, and after providing advance written notice and permitting the operator an opportunity to be heard, BSA will then take the action to revoke the special permit. All sidewalks and curb cut improvements shall be subject to DOT review and approval post BSA. Applicant shall submit a builder's pavement plan and all the required drawings as per DOT specifications and requirements and build to DOB standards. The automatic volume control system shall remain active at all times, and all pavement markings, circulation signage within the site, and all screening, including landscaping and fencing, shall be provided and maintained as per BSA approved plan. All site lighting shall be directed down and away from adjacent residential properties. Lumen level at the property line abutting residential use shall not exceed 2-foot candle. A 10 ml vapor barrier, Perminator, Evo, which is a brand, but it could be anything similar, under slab gas vapor barrier, or shall be installed for the building construction. HVAC type shall comply with applicable laws and regulations as determined by DOB and other relevant agencies, and the drive-through shall operate from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. 7 days of the week. Motion to approve.
Chair Chanda?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon?
Aye.
This application has been granted. So we will continue with the BZ calendar, continued hearings. Item number 23, calendar number 2025-06 BZ 8802 Northern Boulevard, Queens.
Okay, just give me a second. Um, notes. Okay. So the drive-through hours were revised to 10:30 a.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days of the week. And with that, also the plans have been revised with regards to the treatment of the rear wall abutting the residential use. It would be a 10-foot high wall consisting of existing masonry wall, which would be up to a height of 5 feet. And then above that would be it would be a 5 foot 4 inch wall, and above that would be an acoustical wall with reinforced galvanized steel of 4 foot 8 inches. I think I don't want to get into the numbers, but basically it will be a composite um, of the existing masonry wall, which will be raised in some cases to a height, and above that would be the acoustical wall. So I don't have any additional comments on that. I'm satisfied with that. Just want to see if Commissioner Sheta had any comments on this. No, he did not. Okay. All right. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I'm satisfied with what was submitted to us. I have no questions.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
I found the submission responsive, and I am satisfied.
Okay, thank you. All right, next case.
Item number 24, calendar number 2025-17 BZ 98-0105 Metropolitan Avenue, Queens.
Okay, first hearing on this application was held in September of 2025, and following which 2 adjournments were requested. This today would be the second hearing that we are holding. In the meantime, Community Board did hold its hearing in October of 2025 and disapproved the application. It was actually a 19-19 in favor and 19 in favor, 19 in opposition. So the Community Board also makes following recommendations: that the existing parking spaces above the minimum amount required by the zoning resolution be set aside to allow parking for the library at the east end of the site, and the applicant should asks the applicant to strongly consider future development of the site for housing with a retail base which would continue to allow the McDonald's tenancy. So I just want to say a couple of things regarding this response. The eating and drinking establishment is a permitted as of right use. The action before the board is to permit an accessory drive-through to the as of right eating and drive-through for the as of right eating and drinking establishment. Board cannot direct the applicant to set aside excess parking spaces for abutting uses, as it is not within the purview of the special permit. However, to minimize the adverse impact of the drive-through on the residents, board may require operator to set aside additional parking spaces for alternate line busting pickup methodology. It is completely up to the applicant to decide whether they want to set aside a few parking spaces for the library. That we are not weighing in on that matter. So in response to the discussions that we had initially back in September of 2025, applicant, I would say, has listened to the concerns that were raised by the community members who spoke at the hearing, and also that were raised by the board. So based on that, the applicant has devised provided an operational plan. And in that, it is proposing to change the hours of operation. And I want the applicant to clarify if this change to the hours of operation is for both the as of right eating and drinking establishment and also for the accessory drive-through. The proposed hours of operation is Sundays through Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 12 a.m., and Fridays to Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. In the initial submission, the applicant was proposing a 24-hour operation, and the prior board had put a condition for the hours of operation for the drive-through, and it was limited to 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 7 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday, and 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. for Sunday. So the change would be from prior board condition with regards to drive-through. And as I said, the action before us is with regards to the accessory drive-through. The limit to the hours of operations would be to the accessory drive-through only. It is up to the applicant whether they want to maintain the similar hours of operation for the as of right eating and drinking establishment or have a different set of hours. But please do let us know that at the hearing. As directed by the board, applicant has devised the plan and will be closing the drive-through lane that will be exiting onto 69th Avenue after business hours. I would say this would make most sense if the business hours of the as of right use and the drive-through was different. If they're similar and the entire operation is going to shut down at the same time, I'm not sure if it's going to serve much purpose, and the better alternative would be you just close the entrance from McDonald's and from the other street through a chain so that nobody enters it during non-business hours. So I would like the applicant to clarify the reason. And that was the purpose why we were saying that if you have to maintain it, you have to change the drive-through, you have to reduce the drive-through operation hours and not allow them to enter, and could be an alternate pickup from the parking lot kind of situation. I think that's how we were driving at that decision. So the applicant is also proposing to close access to parking spaces 12 to 14 that is located along the residential lot line from 9 p.m. onwards, from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. Again, similar comments. I do think these are good ideas, but I think we need to understand it in the context of the entire business operation. In addition, the applicant has provided in the operational plan a more robust cleaning plan, rodent control, also has identified ways to minimize impact, rerouting actually the delivery and the pickup trucks more towards Metropolitan Avenue when possible, and also reduce early morning activities near residences and such. So I think these are all good suggestions, but they need to be they need to be implemented and be monitored. So I have one question regarding the delivery and the trash pickup. If you can please clarify, I looked through my notes and I don't have it, so you may have mentioned it, but please let me know what is the hours, typical hours of delivery and the trash pickup. My question is, can we require the trash pickup and delivery vehicles always to exit onto McDonald's Avenue at any time? So this way, we don't have to worry about the 69th Road being impacted by any commercial vehicles exiting onto it. I also noticed in the plan, there is a checked box before the proposed chain that would be closing the lane of the drive-through. Well, I didn't see any thing on the legend, so I'm not sure what that is for. So if you could clarify. And also, the operational plan talks about speed control measures being proposed. So it wasn't quite clear from the documents provided what those would be or if they're existing. So if the applicant can clarify that. Those are my questions. Just see. Yes, Commissioner Otley Brown, please.
So in response to initial comments about the wall on the northern lot line that had proposed a 6-foot high chain link fence, when previously approved plans showed it at 8 feet, we asked if they could increase that and give us sound attenuation, and they're now proposing an 8-foot high chain link fence with acoustic block. But it seems like we have been trending towards requiring an acoustic block wall, not just a chain link fence, because we noticed the fabric just tear over time. And I was wondering if it might be appropriate for us to suggest an acoustic block wall now, in keeping with the standard that we've created for all of the other fast foods that border on residential lots.
Okay, yep. The applicant can respond to that. Thank you. Oh.
That's my one question.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta had a comment, and that's regarding the section on BSA-15. And I think that is the ABC section, and that it is not to scale. So please fix that. Commissioner Yoon?
I thought that they actually, I had a few questions based on the initial hearing, because I recall, Chair, you had asked them to reduce the width of the curb cut on 69th Avenue. It does not seem to be reduced, so maybe I missed a part of the discussion in my notes. We asked for a stop sign and a speed bump at the 69th Avenue exit, which I don't see. There, let's see. I also asked the last hearing, the statement of facts says that 10 parking spaces are required and 30 are provided. The plan sheet BSA 002 states that 26 spaces are required. I had asked for clarification on what the actual parking requirement is, and so we could understand what's in excess. There were some typos I picked up the last time that were not corrected. 11 and 12, your findings for D and E are mislabeled. Your compliance chart on page 2 and 3 states that you'd like to operate the drive-through 24/7. I think that there are a few things that we wanted to get cleaned up. I also, based on the community's concerns, I'm not sure why we'd be compelled to let them increase the hours of operation from the prior board condition to operate till 11 p.m. It seems like they're already operating to midnight, but that's out of compliance, and there's a number of concerns from the community, so I'm not necessarily in support of increasing the hours at this moment, because short of reconfiguring a parking lot, a lot of cars are still going to exit onto 69th Avenue. And then as to the chain, since we don't have any jurisdiction over the as of right restaurant use, I feel like the chain is still a good idea to insist on when the drive-through is closed, should they change to a 24/7 operation for the restaurant only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Quick question for the applicant with regards to Commissioner Yoon's comment. Looking at the plans, the 4 spaces that were previously abutting adjacent lot 9 are now proposed as 3 spaces. The board's condition is to close spaces 11, 12, 13, and 14. Space 11, though, has now migrated.
Yeah.
So if the board would still like those 4 spaces closed, it is still an adjacent residential lot. But echoing Commissioner Yoon's comment, finding out what the parking requirement is, because if it is 26, 4 spaces is okay to close, but they shouldn't be closing more than is required to be provided.
Right.
Isn't it 1 per 300 square feet?
Yeah.
So I think it's somewhere around 11 spaces. are
I think
required.
I
they're
think so.
more than.
Yes. 26.
They do on BSA 002. So that's,
Yeah.
I had asked for that clarification at the last hearing, and it does not seem like it was fixed for this hearing. The SOF states that 10 spaces are required. Because part of my thinking was, could we look at this and reconfigure the parking so that fewer people are exiting on 69th Avenue? And I was like, well, how many parking spaces do they need? So it became an exercise in trying to figure out, like, what can we play with here? Not here. There's another Oh, wait, up there, 3621. Yeah, 26 there.
So it's not, it's required is a wrong term. It's
Well, they're
150
calling it a,
square feet?
they're calling it a place of assembly, which I think is incorrect.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Yeah.
That is incorrect. Yeah, please redo the parking analysis. It is not based on place of assembly.
Right,
It
isn't
is-
it eating and drinking?
It is an
It's
eating and
1 in
drinking.
300,
Yeah,
right?
it's 1 per 300.
Mhm.
For the dining area, I think, and then the kitchen, the employees are calculated differently, I think. But anyway,
But
just
Yeah.
clarification on the parking requirement would be helpful. But I wanted to discuss while we're talking, because I have it in my notes, we had talked about reducing the width of the curb cut on 69th Avenue, and there was some extensive discussion about, creating more visibility for people walking by and cars, and they haven't reduced the width of the curb cut. So I guess I'm just trying to see if anyone recalls any discussion or if we want to pursue that. It's the
let
same
me go
30
through
foot
my
four,
notes.
which does seem unnecessarily large given the width of the exit, but I feel like the important design piece is actually going to be what's happening in here, the speed
So-
bump, the stop sign.
I'm sorry, go ahead, what
No.
you were saying. So from my notes, what I have is that the applicant was going to look at adding a stop bar on Metropolitan, stop sign on 69th Road, look at trimming the bushes at 69th Road along the pass-by to allow for better visibility of oncoming vehicle. And because they believed it wasn't really the curb cut, it was really the visibility was being affected by the bushes and to trim that. And because the stop sign doesn't quite, it actually is located, if you look at the plan, it is located further away from the lot line. And the bushes are extending beyond that, so that caused an
On
issue.
which plan?
Hmm?
You said if I look at the plan? which
The
one?
plan that is on the screen.
Oh, I see. Where's the stop sign?
The stop bar?
Oh, there's a stop, right, but
Right.
we had asked for stop sign.
The stop sign, again, I think there is an existing stop sign and the applicant should clarify that. And that would be that little to the right of the stop bar. Yeah, I think that is a stop sign if I seem to recall, but applicant should clarify and indicate all the various stop signs that are proposed or existing on this site.
Right, I guess so then the 30-foot-4 curb cut. It seems to me, it seemed a little like quite large for this exit, and we had some discussion about narrowing it. So perhaps the applicant can just discuss what, reducing that to 20 feet, more in line with the actual width of the exit.
So there are actually two, and this is the part that the applicant needs to clarify. There are two lanes that are exiting onto this from this exit. There's one set of vehicles that will be exiting from the pickup window where it says thank you, but there also needs to be a stop sign and a stop bar that is missing. And then there is the stop sign that is there for the pass-by vehicles. So 69th is a one-way, isn't it?
No, it's two ways. Their maneuverability
two-way?
plan.
Well, it will be extremely difficult to make a left turn. It should be only a right turn movement. I think a left turn would be
They
because
also
of the
have drawn
way.
this as if we're in England.
Yeah. Mhm.
Huh?
They've
Should be-
drawn it as if we're in the
The right
UK.
turn should be close to the sidewalk. The left turn should cross over the line.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, right, right. This is the British system. It's- Okay, yeah.
drive and turn right, having a crash pump.
It should be right only.
Well, so I think one thing that does is it sends everyone back into the neighborhood. It sends everyone back into the residential neighborhood as opposed to metropolitan, which is the major thoroughfare. So what I had been thinking was, is there a way we can get only drive-through to exit from this driveway, thereby reducing the number of headlights facing these houses? And most people who are parking would then enter and exit on Metropolitan. All of it relies on there not being that big of a queue, because the whole parking area require, like, to get to the accessible spaces, you need to not have a drive-through line. So short of reconfiguring the entire parking lot, I was thinking of other ways to improve safety on 69th Avenue based on the comments that we got. Because if this were a new project, I would say this maneuverability is not ideal.
This is something the applicant's traffic consultant should provide a response to and walk us through
Yeah.
why this is the ideal and what alternatives can be done. Yeah. My concern is having the pass-by cutting through the drive-through will cause more backup and would impact the pedestrian flow on and vehicular flow on Metropolitan Avenue. And for that reason, it's absolutely not ideal to have a vehicle, pass-by vehicle cut through the drive-through. We never actually allow that in any drive-through. It has to be a continuous movement, and that is why that pass-by lane is there. So the vehicles that are, that enter, so there is one entrance, and this is where I think the internal circulation can be improved by allowing Metropolitan to be a both in and out, one of them being both in and out.
The whole thing is oriented though for driving one direction. So then I was thinking, do we go to 90-degree stalls? Like what's the least invasive way to try to reconfigure this? One would be restriping stalls. You'd lose some spaces, but everyone would be
I
90
have to say the
degrees.
comments
When
that
you-
we, sorry, go.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna make them 90-degree stalls, that cuts the drive aisle. That's why they're slanted. So you
Right.
could have the maximum amount of maneuverability getting in and out of the parking spots. So that's something you have to keep in mind.
Right, and but I look at the accessible spots and I'm like, if you're trying to park there and there's a line, seems like a drive-through line queue. There's just obviously some like maneuverability conflicts.
I have to say the most of the comments that we received from the neighbors was about complaints with regards to cleanliness. It had to do with sanitation, buffering, and that the neighbors received a lot of sanitation tickets because the litter from McDonald's was affecting their site. And so
There were concerns about safety on the 69th Avenue curb cut side. We had some discussions about that.
I don't have it in my note.
You know, I think that the assumption that you're going to make this site 100% safe, where there's going to be no conflict between cars and pedestrians, is unreasonable. This is a commercial activity. It's a successful commercial business. And the fact of the matter is it relies on a parking lot, which is beneficial to the community because you don't want people parking on the street and blocking driveways to run in. But the drawback of that is you're going to have areas where pedestrians are going to come into conflict with drivers. And I think that allowing for the easiest, smoothest transition on and off of the site is more beneficial than necking down traffic to as few entries and exits as possible, because what ends up happening is when drivers think something's unreasonable, they just do what they want.
And I would also say that this entire zoning lot, as part of ZRD1 that was received by the applicant, permits the entire zoning lot, even though the zoning lot is partially split between R3 and R3 C1 overlay, the entire zoning lot as of right can have a commercial use. So regardless of whether there's a drive-through or not, the exit from the commercial, as of right commercial operation can exit onto 69th Avenue and make a left or a right turn. So we need to be mindful of that also.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think that's where they should have just been responsive to the stop bars and the stop signs and the
So we can
speed
address
bumps
that.
we asked
So we
for
can
last
address
time.
that. So I think the information provided has to provide more stop bars from the drive-through exit. That has not been provided. They need to indicate the signs posting that stop, do not enter. All of those, the information is lacking. I do see the stop signs, but we don't know what they are. So they need to be clearly indicated. Similarly, the ideal would be actually maybe reduce the, I mean, they need to, it would be ideal if the circulation can be improved in a way where one doesn't have to cut through the drive lane. And also for the ADA accessibility, how can one do that? Can that be reversed? Maybe it should be done the other way. Instead of the stop sign from when you enter, one should be allowed to make a left turn to go to the handicap parking spaces also. So this way it minimizes the through lanes having to exit onto 69. That could be one possibility.
Right,
No.
but you're also talking about surplus parking spaces.
It is,
You
yeah.
know, they could easily say, well, you know what, we only need 11. We're going to keep the 11 along the border of the lot lines and then get rid of everything in the center, and then we won't have any conflict with cars crossing the drive because there won't be any parking spots there.
You know what could work is maybe just a small hatched area at the opening of the, between 4 and 5. And it doesn't mean you can't wait there, but it would just make you alert to the idea that, when you're in front of a firehouse and they have a kind of striped area that says, potentially a car could come through here, there could be something like that that lets a person in the drive-through lane know that if someone needs to make a left, it's not like anyone's going fast in this parking lot, right? Like you can communicate with each other. Maybe something like that would be helpful to the drive-through people.
Again, let's hear from the traffic consultant. And I think what we are saying, and the applicant, please hear us, is that the drawings that you have provided has not adequately addressed the questions that were raised at the hearing with regards to speed bumps, stop signs, and the landscaping also doesn't quite show where, if you're going to trim the bushes, it's not indicated on the plans and how that would be addressed. None of those have been, some of the improvements have been shown, but some of the rest have not been carried through. So you need to look at that, revise those, and help us find a solution that would minimize some of the internal circulation that would affect the drive-through, and also limit the turning onto 69. Though, as I said, as of right, that turning movement is completely permitted from this association. So how do you make it more safe is what we are looking at. So please respond to those questions at the hearing, or follow up with another analysis.
One last thing I wanted to say is, why don't we just get rid of 12, 13, and 14 instead of saying just chain them off at 9 p.m.? It seems unrealistic that someone's gonna chain them off at 9 PM.
I think that's where the staff will be parked most likely. Employee parking, right?
There's 30 spaces on a site that requires 10. I'm just, I'm
But-
suggesting it. If we're concerned about it, I think that it's probably more likely that no one will chain it at 9 o'clock every day. And so why not just get rid of them if we have a concern?
I think we need to look at this in a very comprehensive manner and not pick out one piece at a time, because there are a lot of other things. If there's an acoustical wall that is provided, much of this will not matter. So there are many ways to look at these issues, so we need to look at it that way. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Let's go to the next case.
The next application has been adjourned. It was announced yesterday, but I'll announce it again. Item number 25, calendar number 2025-22BZ, 51 Little West 12th Manhattan is being adjourned. Next, we will begin with the new cases on the BZ calendar. Item number 26, calendar number 2026-01BZ, 4261 Broadway, Manhattan.
Okay. We have received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. Community Board has voted to disapprove this application, though I believe this is the executive committee that voted. And the issues that were raised were regarding traffic, pedestrian safety, curbside conflict, bus operation, proximity to gas station, and auto service station. We also received an overwhelming number of letters of support, I would say over 340 or so, from the school and for the school from parents of the students who are studying at Zeta. So this is an application for a special permit pursuant to zoning resolution section 73-133 to permit a development of a school on the subject site where a portion of the subject site is located in C83 zoning district, and the rest of the site is located in zoning districts R72, C44, and R72 with a commercial overlay of C14, where a school use is permitted as of right. So over, I would say, 75% of the zoning lot is located in zoning district where the as of right use of a school is permitted. What the applicant is proposing is a new construction, a 9-story building consisting of a school for high school students, and it would maintain not only classrooms, the required number of classrooms for the students, but also various program spaces that would be needed for a high school operation, including gym, auditorium, various specific classes for robotics, library, music, arts, art rooms, rehearsal rooms, reading rooms, etc. In addition to that, applicant is also proposing to use the rooftop play area and such. The drop-off pickup proposed would be the, I think there is a morning tutoring class that which starts at 7:20 a.m. and all students have to arrive by 8 a.m. And the dismissals vary from weekdays. I think Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, it's at 3:55 till 4:55 p.m. and Wednesdays, the dismissal is 2:15 p.m. with after school running till 4:55, and Thursdays, the dismissal is at 2:40 and running till after school program till 4:55. And the applicant has provided a travel mode, and it states also that Zeta's employees, they arrive ahead and leave after the after the students leave. So the travel mode as the site, for this particular site, based on survey that they have conducted of other Zeta schools, there will be a strong dependency on public transportation over Over 75% of the students, it seems, will be using mass transit. This area is rich in terms of public transportation. There are 2 train lines and there are several bus lines that run along 179th, 181st, Broadway, and all other east, west, north, south avenues also. So the threshold for the special permit is to meet the school definition of ZR 1210, which, based on the information provided, the applicant does. Zeta is a charter school operating in the city, and it is accredited by New York State Education Department, and it also follows the ESSA federal standard. So based on all this information provided, it meets the 1210 definition. So with that, I want to proceed with the findings of the special permit under 73133. So the first finding is identifying alternate sites in zoning districts where this use is permitted as of right. Applicant has retained a real estate group to do the search. And as part of his search, it has identified temporary or spaces for short-term needs, but not enough to address the need for high school. So the list that they have provided, it showed a lot of sites, but of the sites that were shortlisted, I want to focus on that. The applicant needs to provide a much more detailed analysis of the list. First of all, the list needs to include the block and lot area, existing land use, whether the site is vacant or built, what is the permitted floor area that is permitted by the underlying zoning, what is the built floor area, and are these areas within the catchment area or not, and what are the pros and cons of these sites. I think much of it was carried out in some form of narratives in various sets of information provided, but we need to see it in a tabulated format. And the list included sites like 2420 Amsterdam, 308 Dyckman, 4162 and 4168 Broadway. These are also similar to the subject site, are located in zoning districts where portion of the sites are in our C8 districts. So they are not therefore as of right. They cannot be built as of right on the entire zoning lot, unless you want to build on a portion of the zoning lot where the school use is permitted. So please look through those and revise the chart accordingly. With regards to finding B, to indicate if the school is not located more than 400 feet, as I said, the subject site is split between multiple zoning lots, and over 75% of the site is located in zoning district which permits a school use. So it definitely meets the B finding. With regards to finding D, that is regarding traffic and noise.
What's B? You just did B.
Oh, it meets B. I'm sorry, finding C.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Thank you. With regards to finding C, that is regarding maintaining adequate separation from noise and traffic from the non-residential. Applicant states that based on the noise based on the noise analysis that's been done, the applicant is proposing a 28 dBA composite window wall attenuation with alternate means of ventilation. And so I have one question. The ground slopes from 181 Street diagonally. It actually slopes kind of south to north from west to east. And so the ground is more pitched at a higher elevation, and the residential homes that are abutting it are at a higher elevation than the subject site. So my question is, since the site is proposing a rooftop play area, the abutting residential homes, would they not be situated at a higher elevation because of this slope condition? And therefore, would a noise attenuation be required for the rooftop play area? With regards to finding D, which is regarding traffic movement, the applicant states that there are two existing schools on West 182nd Street, one block east of the site, and that this area is already part of the pedestrian safety feature. And the applicant also states that it's not a high crash location. So I would like the applicant to provide a crash data. I don't think I saw that. The applicant has provided, is proposing a safety plan that it uses for its existing school. And it would include safe routes for students to travel to the school and assigning staff members and security agents outside of the school during arrival and dismissal, to monitor the pedestrian and the traffic flow, and also to ensure that the students are maintaining, I guess, the requirements, observing the requirements. The school will also have security agents that will be stationed at each of the building entrances, and the security will also ensure be part of this ingress and egress from the site. So, and Zeta, and that the students of Zeta also receive safety training with an emphasis on transportation and safety during students' commute. And these are conducted annually, and the teachers and staff are also trained annually on this matter. So the applicant states that that the area around the site, as I said, includes multiple schools, and that students and school-related pedestrian activity is already common during the arrival and dismissal times, and the intersections around the site currently features all the safety measures. And the proposed facility will add additional school crossings ahead, and advance warning and no standing signs around the site. As I stated, according to the modal split analysis, over 75% of the students will be arriving to the site via public transportation. 22% will be walking, and the remaining 3.6% will be driven to the site. And as I said, this was based on information that was provided by the charter school, data from other sites. And the pedestrian, because the pedestrian trip exceeds the SECRA technical manual level 2 threshold, the trip assignments and that were done. However, that was not necessary for the vehicular traffic because it screens out and does not exceed the level 2 analysis. So I have a couple of, and as I was looking at the figure 6.2 of the project generated ped trip during AM and PM peak, most numbers of ped traffic, ped traffic arriving and departing were along 181st Street from the east and the west, and also from South Broadway, because that's where all the bus stops are. There are 2 bus stops located on the east side and the west side of Broadway, south of the intersection, and there are several bus stops also located to the east of the intersection along 181st Street, and not to mention the subway stops located to the east and also to the west. So the trip analysis that is being assumed for this site, to me, seems reasonable. And given that this is a high school student, expecting students to arrive by transit seems very natural, because that's what I see in my neighborhood. Ms. Benke?
I just wanted to note that this is also a middle school. It has a grade 6 through 12.
Oh, it has a grade 6 to 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is some crash data in the EAS. If we need more, we can look into that, but I just
look
wanted
at
to
it
note that.
I will look at it during break.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
Okay, so the PED flow is very much based on the location of the transit access points, which are located, as I mentioned, along 181st Street, south side of the intersection of Broadway and 181st. And based on Zeta's website, what I was trying to look at, like, are there other high schools and middle schools that Zeta has? And it primarily currently has mostly primary and elementary school, and there are a couple of middle schools. And there are few that are located in Eastern Queens, but in school district 7 and 9, and rest of them are located in the Bronx, in school districts 5 and 6, and in Manhattan. There is only one high school that is located, and that is located at West 164th Street, with only one class, 9th grade class. So I guess it's the starting of a high school program. But so this would be the first of its kind in the Zetas program that would have a high school classes. So the proposed trip analysis estimates that 3.6% of the students will be arriving from the Bronx to attend the proposed high school. And I'm assuming that is based on a lot of the students who would have been in the middle school or the elementary school. Actually, mostly in the middle school are probably coming to this school for high school. So the applicant should also kind of shore up that argument as to how they're arriving at the 3.6, because that would also determine as to where the drop-off and the pickup will be happening. And even though the number is very small, we do need some clarity on that. I think I know there are a lot of issues around it. We are going to hear a lot of comments during the public testimony, so I'm not going to say any more. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I've actually looked over this application, and I really feel that, you know, you do have a problem with the gas station just north of the site, but it's a problem that could be ameliorated by having school staff on board to take care of any pedestrians that might be coming from the north side of the site. And other than that, I really think that this is an ideal space for a school. It is right at the juncture of a lot of public transportation, with which a lot of the students are going to be taking part in. This is a site that is also very pedestrian intense as well, because other people are using public transportation. It's not in an area where industrial vehicles are constantly traversing the sidewalk in and out of industrial sites. So I think out of all of the schools that are located in either C8s or M1s, this actually happens to be one of the better locations. And I also want to say that, you know, 3/4 of this site is in an as-of-right district. And so you really could, if you wanted to, have an as-of-right school right here and just completely bypass the BSA and go straight to DOB, get your permits and start building. So the fact that they want to extend this mostly as-of-right building into a small portion of the C8 that happens to be in a general residential, commercial, mixed-use district, I personally don't have a problem with it. What I do see is there really is a need to have very good middle schools and high schools in New York City. And if the Zeta Charter School System is aspiring to provide that, I want to support them. So I personally don't have an issue.
Thank you. Yes, and I think a lot of the program spaces is probably what is driving the need for the additional footprint. It's not the program spaces is driving the additional volume, it's the classrooms. And the classrooms, as you mentioned, probably can be located as of right on the site. Okay. Commissioner Sheta did not have any comments for now on this matter. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I agree with Commissioner Otley Brown's statement in general about the site and that a majority of the site this would be an as of right use, and the public transit, as Chair mentioned, is very rich here. I just had some comments on the statement of facts. One part of the statement says the proposed use is permitted on 75% of the site. And then there's another portion that states that it's not permitted on 35% of the site. So just be consistent, because I think that is a strong part of the argument. The statement also is very light on the arrival and dismissal procedures as well as waste management. And so one has to go very deep into a 12,000 page PDF of the EAS. It would be helpful if you provided a summary of school safety, arrival and dismissal procedures, confirming that no private buses will be used or vans, and that and generally just describing modal splits between 6th through 8th grade, 9th through 12th grade. Also, the chair mentioned origination, where the students are coming from. I believe that the 3.6% of students is for people who will be picked up and dropped off. And they're saying the majority of those trips would be originating in the Bronx, which is 62% of them. 36 would be from Manhattan, and the remaining 2% would be from Westchester. So what I was trying to understand is, are those percentages of the people being picked up and dropped off? Or is that the general origination of where students are coming from every day for the whole student body? Again, a narrative summary describing where everyone's coming from, how they're getting there, and what times they're getting there. And then, there's a vague mention of no standing signs around the site, but what are the kind of current discussions around when and where those signs will be placed? That would help me, certainly when reading the statement of facts before diving into the EAS. And then I wanted the applicant to address, there were some community board concerns regarding the existing Zeta Inwood Elementary School, traffic around that school, and if you could address those comments that the community board made. Those are my comments.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there is a second call item from yesterday, and I will call it at this time. It is on the special order calendar. It is a new case, item number 21, calendar number 126-93 BZ.
Oh, no, hold on.
Yeah, this was discussed in review session yesterday,
Right.
Yes, it was. I thought we were calling it last right now,
after the public hearing.
After the public hearing.
after the public hearing. Okay. So this
You know what
concludes,
we can do? Let me do
Okay.
one. Let me start with the SOC item, and then we'll go to the continued.
You want to start with the second call?
We'll start with the second call for the public hearing.
okay, we'll try to make sure, I think he is in the room.
Yeah.
I do see. Okay, so, all right, this
Let's take
conclude,
we're at 11 o'clock, so let's take a 15-minute break, and we will start with the SOC item, the new case, which
okay,
is case number 126-93 BZ, 1225 East 233rd Street. And after that, we will do all the zoning cases that.
sure,
Okay.
sure. This concludes the public review session, and we will take a break until 11:15 for the public hearing.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Commissioners, please ensure your microphones are on. Ms. Prenga, we are live, recording and streaming. You may proceed with today's public hearing.
Good morning, everyone. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for April 28th, 2026. We will begin with the second call item, which is item 21 on the special order calendar, 126-93BZ, 1225 East 233rd Street, the Bronx. And I will let in the applicant. Mr. Montoya, could you please turn your camera on? If possible. Mr. Montoya, can you please confirm that you're here?
Yeah.
Just please mute your YouTube.
Okay. What did you need me to confirm?
Hi, thank you for turning on your camera. I'm going to swear you in.
Yes, Mr. Montoya?
Yes.
Good morning, this is Carlo. Do you have the YouTube on? Can you pause the YouTube because it's creating an echo?
Okay. What do I need to do?
Do you have YouTube on as well as the Zoom?
I think so.
Yeah, just maybe you close the YouTube and just use the Zoom because it's creating an echo.
I think the
Keep it
problem is
on
we
YouTube
logged
or
in
get rid of
two
YouTube?
users, so if you would log out the second Albert Montoya, perhaps you have your phone and your computer logged into our Zoom. We're hearing feedback because
Do I keep it on YouTube or do I remove the YouTube?
Remove the YouTube and use a Zoom. That's the better way. As long as you can hear all of us.
Is that it?
There's still an echo, Mr. Carlo.
Can you remove the other Zoom as well and just have one Zoom?
Okay. Okay.
Here you go. Mr.
Okay,
Montoya,
great.
can you hear us now?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you
That's
so much.
better now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and proceed to respond to the board comments.
Okay. Albert Montoya.
So, Mr. Montoya, did you hear,
Chair.
Mr. Montoya, did you hear what was said at the review session yesterday?
No, I did not.
Okay. So there were comments that were raised by the commissioners, and the comments were that since this is for an extension of term, you need to provide a compliance report showing that the prior board conditions are being met. So if you do not have a sample, we will send you a sample of what a compliance report looks like and how you need to provide that information. The photos that you have provided, it only shows some sections of the site. We need photos of the entirety of the site. So what I need you to do is take photos of the site from the street side,
Okay,
showing the entire, and then show photo of the rear lot line conditions.
okay,
That is abutting residential use. And then also take some photos of the interior site conditions without zooming into the details.
okay.
So we need to
Mhm.
say what the, we need to understand what the entire operation is.
Okay,
Now, there is an ECB violation that has been issued that is contrary to certificate of occupancy. You need to explain what that was issued and how that is being resolved. Based
okay.
on site inspections, it seems that while the site seems to be in good conditions, there are areas behind the building fence that seems to have clutter. So we need photos of those site conditions and those clutters removed.
Okay.
We therefore are asking you to provide photos of that rear portion of the site and also the convenience store that is located. You need to provide an analysis that the convenience store is in compliance with the DOB TTPN
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and the signage. The signage that is located at the site, it seems to exceed the maximum permitted signage, which is 50 square. An illuminated sign at this location cannot be more than 50 square foot. And the signage analysis shows that this illuminated sign is 64 square feet. So it is more than the maximum permitted. You need to either reduce it
Okay.
to bring it to compliance, or if the prior board or DOB had granted you to allow this signage, you need to provide the necessary documents to justify that.
Okay.
Otherwise, the sign will have to be reduced to comply with the 50 square foot requirement. Okay, then these are all the comments that the board gave. Another set of comments was that there are air machines and vacuum machines that are located along the residential lot line. Those
Yes.
need to be moved from the residential lot line and need to be away from the residential sites. And those also need to be indicated on the plans. We don't see those on the plans that's been submitted.
Okay.
Um,
I did do I have an updated plan and I have them on there and also, but okay, I'll have them removed and we have one at the corner on 233rd next to the Reamer. So we have one there, but we do have these two next to the residential. So we'll have those removed.
Right.
then.
The ones that are by the residential along by the Baychester.
Yes.
That to be removed and you need
Okay.
to relocate it to the frontage. I would say the East 23rd Street is a better location for you to provide
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
The other comments, and if I'm missing, there was the issue of the what was the other issue? And you need to indicate signage by each street frontage. That was not provided. Commissioner Yoon also identified some typos that were in the statement of facts. Project manager can provide you with that information and also
Okay.
please to our video. I will ask the project manager to send Mr. Montoya the section where of the video so that he can listen to it and find out more of the information and discussions that transpired. Anything that
They're selling used cars on the site.
right, yes, I was getting to that. And the complaints that we have received and based on the Google Street views and also from site visit, it's not clear, but it seems, at least the complaints seems to indicate that there are used car sales because they have provided information that seems to indicate that there was a used car sale operating from this site. And based on site visits, it seems there were cars that were located without any nameplates. But there were also cars with nameplates. So it's not clear how many of these vehicles are awaiting repair and how many are being used for car sales. So the board absolutely did not permit sale of used car from the subject site. It is not permitted. So you need to notify your client that they need to stop using this site as a used car sales site.
Right, okay,
A violation of the code, of the board's approval, and we can revoke the permit.
okay, absolutely.
I will
Yes.
say it's on Google Maps, it's on Facebook, it's online, clearly listed as this address, Car Plug of New York Used Car Sales. So those would all need to be done.
Yes, when I did go to the community board, yes, they told me about those and I did see those. And I spoke to the owner, but I want to make sure that, yes, that he knows that absolutely. His son was doing it, I believe, yeah.
There's also some signage on the building that indicates the phone number for Car Plug of New York. So all of that would need to be gone and photographed.
Okay.
Okay, any other things that I missed out?
Only that George Torres talked about the bus stop and its interaction with the second curb cut on Baychester.
Right. Right. So that was another comment that was raised by the community board, is that there is excess curb cuts on this site, and that maybe the second curb cut on Baychester that is furthest away from the intersection can be eliminated, and that would also minimize the conflict between the bus stop and the curb cut. So those were the comments. So do you have any feedback on this, or you want to respond?
Yeah, let me discuss it with the client about possibly eliminating a second curb cut. See if we can do that.
Anything you want to state?
No, I did get a copy of that of the operational plan, and we did prepare one and stuff. So I will be sending everything in there.
So project manager, please share a copy of the compliance chart and also a sample of how we want the site photos.
Okay.
And okay. Anything else? All right.
We also need a seeker submission, a type 2 form.
Yes,
or,
yes.
Or yes.
I prepared that. I have that.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
And just for Mr. Montoya, I believe Tony Matias, the board's deputy director, had sent you some comments at some point. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to address them, but these should be addressed in addition to any of the board's comments that you're.
Yes, yes, I did. I actually, yes, I was responding to. I have those.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
You want to go to the public?
Yes, let's go to public.
If you wish to provide testimony on this application, the calendar number is 126-93BZ, 1225 East 233rd Street, the Bronx. You may join this hearing via Zoom. The webinar ID is 161-660-8514, passcode 593309, or you may dial in. The phone number is 669-254-5252, enter the webinar ID, which is 161-660-8514. Press pound, and then press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. I know that George Torres, the district manager, is here from the community board, so I'll add him to the room. But I don't see anyone else raising their hand for this application.
Torres, do you want to state anything in addition to what you had stated yesterday?
No, good morning. Thank you. No additional comments. The only thing I was thinking about what Commissioner Yoon said yesterday in regards to that expanse that fronts Baychester, where we have the concern about the bus stop and the consideration that was discussed about a fence, and the concerns that if you put a fence up or erect a fence, that it would hide whatever was behind the fence. Maybe not a large fence, maybe a decorative fence might be helpful and therefore discourage, even if they didn't remove that first driveway that is closest to the private home where the bus stop actually is, because there's two 30-foot driveways on that side of Baychester Avenue. Maybe a fence line would, again, discourage at least the first driveway from being used. That would be the only additional comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission?
Madam Chair, if that's an option, I just for clarity from Mr. Montoya, would something like a chain link fence or something like that?
Just want to pull up the plans.
Commissioner Yoon, I don't know. Can everybody hear Commissioner Yoon? Okay, I could hear you.
Oh, I just thought I'd pull it up so we're all looking at the same thing. We're talking about this curb cut. The bus stop is here, approximately, somewhere around here. And so question is eliminating this curb cut or I believe what Mr. Torres is talking about is a fence along the property line in order to protect the people at the bus stop. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, Mr. Torres gave a thumbs up on
Okay.
that.
So I think that's a good idea because, again, like I said yesterday, this whole area is sort of under-programmed and tends to be a place where cars will park. And I think that a small, even 4-foot high decorative fence could help preventing parking on the sidewalk.
I would prefer a fence. I would say a 5-foot high fence. It can be this way. If you are going to store your cars that are going to be for repair, and you want to keep them in a secure. We have seen this. Like if you have an auto repair store and they have automobiles waiting for repair, and you need to keep them in a place until it's ready to be picked up or until it's ready for repair. Sometimes you keep it in a closed area. Maybe that would be the place where you provide it. And in that case, what you do need to provide is just show how many vehicles can be fitted into it, whether it is tandem parking or so that we have an idea of number of vehicles that can be parked in this area and stripe it accordingly.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there no more testimony on this application?
No, I don't think anybody has raised their hands, so, okay. How much
Okay.
time, Mr. Montoya, do you need to make these corrections?
Yes. Yes, I do.
How much time do you need, Mr. Montoya?
2 weeks.
I think you need more than that. Please take your time to do
Okay.
work thoroughly and make your submission. there is a hearing in June. We have a hearing on June 1st and 2nd, and the submission date for that falls, though it falls on May 14th, that gives you 2 weeks to submit. I will give you one extra week by May 21st. Please make a
Okay.
submission for June 14th.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, did you say for June 1st or June 14th?
June.
Sorry, my bad. June 1st, continued hearing. With a
Okay,
submission date for May 21st.
May 21st. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Should we move on?
Thank you, Mr. Montoya.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Montoya. Should we move on?
Yeah,
We will continue on the BZ calendar, continued hearings. Item number 23, calendar number 2025-06 BZ, 88-02 Northern Boulevard, Queens. So this is Eric Platnick's office.
I thought I saw Mr. Platnick.
I did see,
Is there anyone with you today?
oh, here we go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Great, yeah. Yes, also on the call with us should be Kenny Hirschfeld and Mr. Chang.
I see Chen Ling, but I
Excuse me,
don't see the other name you
You know,
mentioned.
if,
Kenny Hirschfeld.
Well, has a phone number ending in 3200.
Yes, that is Kenny. That is Kenny's number, yes.
Okay, we'll let him in, try to let him in. I gave him permission to talk, but I don't know if I can.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. So the people who can, please turn your camera on and
Oh,
raise.
I apologize. I made a mistake. Kenny and Chang, can you hang loose? They're for the next one. They're not for 88. I apologize. That's my mistake.
Okay.
But now you know they're there. I apologize. They're for the.
Okay, no problem. So raise it for calendar number 2025-06 BZ 8802 Northern Boulevard, Queens. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name and proceed to respond to the board's comments.
My name is Eric Palatnik, and I heard nothing to respond to, so I have no comment.
Ms. Benke, are we all good in terms of the environmental review?
Yes, it's type 2.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the public.
If you wish to provide testimony on this application, the calendar number is 2025-06 BZ. The address is 8802 Northern Boulevard, Queens. You may join via Zoom to enter this hearing. The webinar ID is 161-660-8514. The passcode is 593309. Or you may dial in. The phone number is 669-254-5252. The webinar ID is 161-660-8514. Please press pound and then *9 to raise your hand. And once you're called on, you can press *6 to unmute yourself. So I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand for this application, but we will give it 3 minutes. Let me know.
Minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes up?
It's almost up.
Okay.
Just a few more seconds. Okay,
All right, thank you. I'm going to make a motion to close.
Chair Chanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
And we will schedule this for decision for May 11th. No submission is required.
Okay. Thank you. I will call the next item, item number 24, 2025-17BZ, 980105 Metropolitan Avenue, Queens. The two individuals, I believe, are in the room already. Can you please turn on your camera if you can? And raise your right hand. Mr. Lin. Could Mr. Ling turn on? Okay, thank you so much. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
We do.
I do.
Please state your name and proceed to respond to the board's comments.
My name is Eric Palatnik, and Kenny Hirschfeld, you're here also. I didn't see you get sworn in.
I am here. I don't know how to turn my camera on. I'm on my cell phone.
You should be able to see at the bottom of the page, there should be a toggle switch for the camera. If you maybe just push somewhere on the page, you'll see at the bottom will be mute and then a series of other options. But if the board will accept you, without your picture, then I'm okay with it.
It's up to the chair and the council.
I'm fine.
Okay.
All right, Kenny, you got off lucky today. You don't have to do your hair.
Sorry. I see a FaceTime feature, but I don't see
Don't push. You've aged out. So don't
Okay.
push. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for spending the time and reviewing our application. My name is Eric Palatnik, and I'm happy and proud to be representing Kenny Hirschfeld and McDonald's at this location. This is a dealer operated and owned site. This is not a McDonald's corporate site. Kenny has been operating it for decades, along with his former partner Luigi Solomeo, who unfortunately passed away the last time I came before you. It was about 15 years ago with Luigi, and he's a great guy. And Kenny's a great person, and the shop is a great shop, and the spirit of the shop and the way that it's operated, its community participation, all of its involvement in the community, and everything they can do to satisfy people in the community is self-evident once you'll talk to Kenny and you'll hear from him. I say that because your review session was had quite a few issues came up with it. I was a little taken aback by it, if only because I went to the community board meeting myself. I've represented this site for 2 decades now, and I know Kenny and the site very well. I've been there. I believe somebody that is at the board lives in the neighborhood over there as well, and they could probably attest to what I'm about to say. It's incredibly well run. They're very generous with their parking. There's a library, public library next door. I was at the community board. Community board did not have any problem with the operations of the establishment in any way, shape, or at all. There was nothing about noise. There's nothing about traffic. The only thing that it came up at the community board was that they feel that it should be rezoned and turned into a 6-story apartment building. And that was the bulk of the evening's conversation. The other part was that they should formalize an agreement with the library, since so many people and elderly people and people from the community do park in this parking lot and go to the library, and Kenny does not enforce a no parking issue with people that do that. Primarily seniors that do that, he has no problem with. The site is well parked. It's been well parked for decades, and it's necessary parking, because as we said, people do use it for the library, and it allows for a nice free-flowing movement through the parking lot. I think the core of what we heard at your review session dealt with the movement of cars, as well as the pickups and deliveries for the garbage and the deliveries, as well as the noise complaints from a neighbor. One neighbor who spoke at the last hearing, and that was the only thing I've really heard about it. First, with respect to the circulation on the site and the traffic measures, Cheng did put in, just as you asked for at the last hearing, stop signs and showed them on the plans and shows you the traffic control measures, and he could show that to you in further detail. He did not put a speed bump, and Elise Foladera was remiss in not explaining that in our statement, but I was not there at the last hearing, but Cheng said there was testimony last time that the neighbors across the street on 69th had no desire for a speed bump because it would be like a disco effect when every time at night when a car went over that speed bump and bounced up and down. But we'd be happy to put in speed bumps if the board desired. We understand the board's concern with the exiting from 69th. There has never been a single accident reported that we know about on 69th. It's been operating the curb cut and the exit as is for decades, decade upon decade. Having said that, the shrubs grow. Probably weren't so big years ago. Kenny will have the shrubs cut back so that there is a clear line of vision from the exiting person exiting in their motor vehicle. Up to the point of a left turn there to 69th. I think that the board raised it and discussed it amongst themselves and raised some very good points. The first one being, first of all, it's been operating like this for decades. Decades. There's been no problem. Decades. There's been no problem at all. None. But I can see how people are concerned about left-hand turns. But the left-hand turn there will allow people to drive back out to Metropolitan Avenue. So we think the left-hand turn makes a lot of sense
Mr.
there.
Plotnick, can I
Yeah.
ask for a favor?
Yeah.
Can you speak little slowly?
Oh,
You
yes, sure.
important things, and I don't want to miss it.
Sure, I have a habit of talking very fast, so I apologize. So going back to the left turn and the right turn on 69th, we do believe, and we could speak about that more, we don't have a traffic consultant on board here. We didn't think we needed one. This has been operating in this capacity for decades. So the left-hand turn brings people back out to Metropolitan. It also enables prevent people from turning into the neighborhood, which was discussed at your review session, and cars would come out of the parking lot and if forced to go to the right would go into the residential neighborhood. The really big problem, as Kenny tells me and as I've heard with the site, is that there's garbage on the streets from time to time. There's McDonald's wrappers all over the place. And Kenny has addressed that by having an army of people go out 3 times a day to pick up on the site. Now, the next discussion point that was raised was the hours of operation. And Commissioner Yoon, you are correct. There were earlier hours of operation in the early approval from decades ago. And about 15 years ago, Kenny started operating at the hours that are here now in front of you. Again, there's been no problems with the operation of the site, no complaints that we know about, other than the singular noise complaint that came up at your last hearing. Other than that, nothing on 311, no DOB complaints. Nobody's come to the operator, spoken to Kenny, and he would oblige by any request that was made of him to try to make things easier. Having said that, we are requesting 6 a.m. to 12, Sunday through Thursday, and 6 a.m. to 1, Friday through Saturday. And we are proposing to have the dining room close and operate at the same hours as the drive-through. So it would be 6 to 12 Sunday through Thursday, 6 to 1 on the weekends. We would be more than happy to, and will make an effort to communicate with our private carter to make sure that their trucks come at the scheduled time, which they have been coming at, which is just before 7 a.m., which is when they make their arrivals. Cheng is going to be studying the site plan to see if the garbage truck can make a U-turn within the site and enter and exit on Metropolitan, and therefore avoid any interaction with 69th by the garbage truck. We are going to analyze the same exact movement for the food delivery truck, and that arrives every morning at about 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. And that too will be analyzed to see if it could make a U-turn within the parking lot so it does not have to exit on 69th. We would be more than happy, speaking of the parking lot, to close off the 3 spaces that are at the back of the parking lot. We do not want to eliminate those parking spaces. And the reason why is because those are quiet parking spaces. Those are used by staff, as was pointed out. That's the go-to parking spot for everybody that works in the facility. It's out of the way. Nobody needs to walk across traffic or anything like that. So we would ask that we keep that there. We also heard your comments with respect to the fencing material. We did propose, and Chang is here to speak about it, to put over the chain link fence, the Acustablock material, which is commonly ordinarily utilized and found to be very effective. But we're not sound technicians. Nobody on this call is from our team. We'd be happy to give it to a sound company to do more analysis on. But we believe, given the singular complaint that was made at your last hearing and the decades of operation of this facility as is, Cheng will tell you that the cost extremes are dramatically different between what he is proposing and a solid block fence. So we're asking that you allow us to present information on that, to show its effectiveness. We're asking you to take into consideration that this has been the same operator for decades, operating this site as is, with a nearly flawless record. No concerns or problems, a community board recommendation that makes no quality of life gripes, complaints, issues. Nobody's heard a peep out of this site for years. Actually, the most exciting thing that happened at the site was a few months ago, somebody lost control of their car and drove through the dining room. Luckily, nobody was killed. But that's the only thing that's really gone on at the site in decades. And we'd urge your board to please consider the fact that Kenny is a community participant. He's here on time. He's doing everything by the book, and we would really beg of you to look at the existing operations and how well it's functioning, and let Kenny go on his way, renew his special permit, make improvements to the landscaping, make the traffic move smoother, give you commitments for when deliveries can come, put in the Acustablock fence over the existing fence, and let him show you his continued operations. And Kenny Hirschfeld is here. Kenny, would you like to add anything that I may have missed?
Well, just before you get into that, I just want to know that for the record, we got over a dozen individual comments submitted to us in September before the first hearing that were complaining about noise, trash, garbage, a number of things. So I just want to make sure that's clear for the record, because we didn't talk about that at the review.
Yeah, thank you. No, I didn't know that. I had no knowledge of that whatsoever. So I appreciate you informing me. Thank you.
Have you received those submissions? If not, I will.
I have not seen them. I have not heard from anybody since then, and as I said, we are willing to address the garbage, the noise, and the trash, which are fairly common routine comments that we get, as you know, with these kinds of establishments. So we are addressing them, and whether or not I've seen them or not, the whole purpose of this testimony is to address all of those issues.
Okay. I'm going to direct the project manager to make sure that they submit, they share with you all the comments that we have received from the community members.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Yoon.
Now, with regards to the plans, before we go into the fence, there are a few things that needs to be done. When I'm looking at the plan, the site plan, it is only showing a stop bar for the pass-by vehicle lane. It is not showing a stop bar for the vehicles that will be exiting the pickup window. So there needs to be a stop bar for that also marked, and there needs to be a stop sign for that also. And you need to indicate on the plans where the stop signs or do not enter or no left turn or no left right turn, all of those signage, where they're proposed and what they're supposed to, what they're saying. It's not evident from the plans at all.
Further.
Please indicate that. With regards to the chain link fence, I want to know do we have a photo of the rear lot line condition?
I can look.
Okay.
A lot of objections.
Do we have photos of the rear lot?
I'm looking.
Yeah. I'm also,
It's going kind of slow. Okay, photographs.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at photo number 11, which shows very high trees and bush along 69th Road, which almost, I'm just trying to understand the value added by having an certain types of fence, because I do, and then I'm looking at view number 13, which has the tall trees and it has the bushes. Where is the rest of the view? Okay.
And one part is the visual, the other part is the noise. There are a lot of objections about the noise from cars.
So the noise from the
Trash.
cars, that one of the things, is it because the vehicles are idling? And the other thing could be the audio. So please do add good neighbor signs, which indicates where they're asking your drivers or anybody parked in the parking lot to reduce their radio or any music or anything that is playing inside the car, and reduce that. So you please, Mr. Palatnik, you know what I'm asking for.
I understand.
Good neighbor signs, so please post those good neighbor signs.
Yes, keep your radio down and keep
Yeah.
noise to a minimum, no honking of horns, etc.
The problem will be building a new wall with all those trees, mature trees right around them.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but you do have 1, 2, 3, 4 residential properties that back up against a wall. And you also have an increase in operating hours to midnight and then to 1 a.m. And you're starting at 6 a.m. And I think that either you're going to ensure that that Acousta-Block covering is always in pristine condition, or you should put a wall in just as your security going forward, that you're not going to be disturbing them. So it's up to you. But if you come back and there are more complaints about noise from your residential neighbors, you're going to have to put a wall in anyway.
I understand what you're both trying to achieve. Why don't you give us the chance, because we're not sound experts, to speak with the sound expert and brief you on it and tell you what it could achieve and what the lifespan is of the product. So that way we know what we're talking about, and then we can come back and we can have one more discussion on it, or you could review it and let us know, and we'll make a decision. And Kenny is here. Kenny's not, listen, Kenny wants to solve the problem, so he doesn't necessarily oppose to a wall necessarily. It's just that when we asked Cheng what the price difference was between a wall and the fence, and I know he's getting something out of it, Cheng thought, Chen, what did you say to me, the distinction?
So the Acousta-Block fence costs a few $1,000s, and whereas a CMU wall or a concrete solid brick wall can cost tens of thousands, $20,000 to $30,000
I don't think we're.
due to the overall length of the wall, and the construction itself can be pretty disturbance because we'll need to excavate and build footings to support it.
I think maybe our standard is usually actually a PVC fence that also has sound attenuating properties, not a solid masonry wall necessarily. Like, right, we're not necessarily asking
I'm
for.
looking for the Acousta-Block version of the wall. It's kind of,
It's like a PVC.
appears as if it's a solid wall, but I don't think it is.
I gotcha. All right, so that's very helpful. Thank you, Commissioner Ewan, for mentioning that. I think, Chang, we'll go back and we'll speak to your experts, and then we'll get a little bit of a memo put together and submit that to, review it ourselves and submit it to the board after we come up with, what we feel is helpful, and then
Will do.
see if the board agrees.
Right. I'll give you an example. I think the one that we are referring to would be similar to, we just approved a project, one of your projects is the Popeyes in
Yeah.
Baisley and Gruyere. And there, that similar kind of fencing along the residential lot line is being proposed.
Okay.
Especially because we do have, again, a number, the summary of the comments that we got, which are numerous, are basically garbage noise and pedestrian safety on 69th Avenue. Those are the
Gotcha.
three main concerns.
Understood.
Speaking of which, I think we also talked about adding additional convenience trash cans because there's a lot of comments from neighbors about spillover of trash cans. And so I didn't notice those on the plan. If you could point those out or at least indicate them on the next submission.
We'll make it more clear, and the stop signs too. Chang, your stop sign logo is confusing. If you could make it more clear where the stop signs are, and if you could also put on your plan the location of the landscaping at the exit on 69th and show a clear line of vision from the stop sign to 69th to see the pedestrians, even if it's not there now, show it as a proposal. And Kenny, could you have your landscaper cut back those trees and give us pictures?
Absolutely.
And the garbage cans, can you put in the garbage cans and take pictures?
So if I may, thank you for letting me just jump in. After I was on the call in September, so when the garbage did come up with the neighbors, we reacted immediately. We added 4 garbage cans on our property since then. So that seems to be working out well. We did add another one right at that exit onto 69th. So I now have 2 garbage cans on 69th where the cars enter and exit and where the residential area starts. We didn't add any on the city property on the sidewalks, but we did add wherever we could on our property. We think that's working out well so far. And we also increased our trash sweeps, down the block. So we think it's working out, and we'll continue to improve on that as well.
Thank you.
I think just having that in some narrative form so we know that when we're reviewing the submission, that's part of what makes it show that you're being responsive to our comments.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do that. And even better, Kenny, can you, when you're out there taking pictures of the bushes, take pictures of the garbage cans too? So that way, and Chang, can you show them everything very clear on the plan, Chang, where you put the garbage cans? So that way everything is crystal clear.
Absolutely.
And also in the narrative, very clearly identify what steps have been taken thus far since the initial hearing and subsequent, and the improvements that's been made. So before and after, if that helps tell the story even better, do so.
Okay.
Okay. Any other suggestions, comments? Let's go. Any other questions from your team, Mr. Plotnick? Then
No, we appreciate you giving us all the time, especially Kenny. He's eager to speak.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go to the public. Don't hang up. We have to hear from the public.
If any member of the public would like to provide testimony at this public hearing, the item we are discussing is item number 24, calendar number 2025-17BZ, 980105 Metropolitan Avenue, Queens. You may join via the Zoom. The webinar ID is 161-660-8514. The passcode is 593309, or you may dial in. The phone number is 669-254-5252. The webinar ID is 161-660-8514. Please press pound. You can press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. Once you're called in. So there are a number of people in the room, but no one is raising their hand. I am just noting that. I have a timer.
How much time will you need to make these changes and the analysis? I think it would be best if we schedule this for June because you, as you said, you need to consult with your, with the sound.
Yeah, that's A-okay for us. You know, none of this is too much stuff. It's just people looking at things. It doesn't require that much work. June is great.
June, the first hearing of June or the second hearing of June? First,
Make it the second, so that way we have plenty of time. We don't ask you for any extra time.
okay, all right.
Hey, you've all been awesome. We thank you very much.
We still have to wait like a minute, a little less than a minute for the public.
We should have talked slower.
I still don't see any raised hand.
Okay, all right. All right, I think
It's just a few more seconds.
few more seconds.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Palatnik
Thank you.
and others.
Thank you, everybody. And I hope you continue to listen to the community concerns and address them and appreciate that and your participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, everyone, now we will go to the new cases on the BZ zoning calendar,
You can't
if
make it.
that's okay with the chair.
Okay, just give me like 3 minutes. Just give me 3
A
minutes.
3-minute break? Okay, thank you. Sorry, everyone. We will take a 3-minute break.
Just admit them in.
We're gonna admit the applicant team, Mr. Schneck.
Okay,
you can
sure.
Identify who
Um,
joining you.
I have a list that I'm
Okay.
trying to cross-reference, but if you could raise your hand in the Zoom room, that would be helpful. Thank
We'll
you.
Take a couple minutes, get everyone's cameras on, microphones ready, and then we'll. swear
And
everyone in.
Ms. Pranga, the list that I sent you was for public comment, not for Zeta reps. Those are members of the public who will be likely to participate at the end of the hearing.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. That's helpful.
So Mr. Schnackenberg, would you like to just let us know who you want as your applicant team?
Sure. Our applicant team, it looks like they've all raised their hands. We've got Jeremy Kozin of Free Frank, Ken Moraski of KSS, the project architect. We have Liz Gladden from VHB, and then our client Zeta is here as well. We have Emily Kim, Jesse Ferguson. I believe that's everybody.
Okay. I do see some, maybe a member of the community board and an elected official maybe in the room, but later, yeah. Please, if anyone else in the Zoom room is here as part of the applicant team, could you raise your hand by pressing *9 or raise it in the room at the bottom of the screen for the Zoom? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll wait for the chair to come back, everyone.
Would you like to swear everybody in?
Can I swear them in without the chair being present?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone, please turn your camera on.
Okay, we have a Jason Diaz. Is that part of your applicant team?
Oh,
Jason is also part of the applicant team with VHB. Thank you.
thank you. Everyone, please turn your camera on. Mr. D. Okay, thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member question?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Once the chair comes back, you may state your name and proceed to respond to the board's comments. And I'll let you know when that happens.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Chair. Would you like to continue?
Yes, please. Sorry
I
about.
s- It's okay. I have sworn everyone in, so please proceed, state your name and respond to the board's comments.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. David Schnackenberg, Fried Frank, Harris, Shriver, and Jacobson here on behalf of Zeta Charter Schools, joined today by my co-counsel, Jeremy Kozen, by the architect team of KSS, Ken Muraski, and VHB, our environmental consultant. And our client is represented here by CEO Emily Kim and Chief Legal Officer Jesse Ferguson. So that's our team today. We attended the review session. We appreciate the board's comments and the work that the staff put into this application. We had prepared sort of a presentation of the application, but it feels to me like this is something of a hot bench. So unless anybody would like a song and dance, I would just jump right into sort of the board's comments, if that's okay. Great.
Yes.
Okay, so just sort of taking them sort of sequentially, starting with the chair's comments. We heard your comments on the site selection letter. We will work with the real estate group, and we will provide you with the table that you requested and the additional detail. We also heard your comment about sort of disqualifying sites where a portion of them is located within the C8 or M zoning district, and we will address that in our written submission as well. We heard your comment on 73-133C with respect to traffic and noise. We will make sure to address the potential issue from the sloping of the site and the potential for noise impact on the adjacent residential buildings. We heard your comments on 73-133D. We will provide the crash data. It's in the EAS, but I could have done a better job of helping you guys not sort through all of that. So I'll make sure that that's really highlighted in our next submission. To answer the question, the 3.6% pickup and drop off is for the entire school community. It's not specific to any locale. So we do have 3.6% modal split are using vehicles. And we will make sure that that is called out in our application. With respect to Commissioner Otley Brown's comments, we certainly agree that we think this is a good spot for a school. We will, I believe there were no actual responses to Commissioner Otley Brown's comments necessary, but please correct me if you disagree, Commissioner Otley Brown. And then Commissioner Yoon, we've certainly heard your comments. I want to apologize. 75% plus 35% does not make 100%. I will correct that in our statement. We also heard your comments on sort of taking out the highlights and making sure that they're clear. So that was with respect to our drop off and pick off, our school safety plan, as well as our waste management plan. Just to sort of quickly touch on those, they're as in the statement, but we'll make sure that they are front and center. Given those comments, and I think we have a pretty clear idea of what you'd like to see from us, we are prepared to respond only in writing unless the commissioners have any further questions or items they'd like to discuss live.
I think the only other thing was I had asked about the community board's comments specific to Zeta and Wood Elementary regarding traffic. And if that's better submitted in narrative form, that's also fine, but just that should be addressed for the record.
We will absolutely address those, and I believe the community board is here to speak as well.
Can you speak a little bit closer to the mic?
So sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
And I bet there's a button I can press to help. Is that better?
Sort of.
It's a little muffled.
So sorry. Okay. I'm just going to shout. Can you hear me better when I do that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry to shout at all of you. Yes, we are aware of the community board's concerns. We will certainly respond to those in writing. We would only say now as sort of a preface that Zeta has been working really closely with the community on its other school, which of course is a school that has a great many more students being dropped off and picked up by vehicles because it's an elementary school. All of that will be included in our written submission. And Emily Kim, the CEO of the school, has been working incredibly closely with stakeholders, including the MTA adjacent to that site. But we will certainly respond to that in writing as well.
Okay, so because the school in Inwood is elementary, there is more, the modal split is more towards vehicular drop-off and pickup and less on, okay. Now,
That's right.
what about the other middle schools? You have like a couple of middle schools, and how is that? What is the modal split in that area typically? Can you use that to kind of, because you don't have a high school other than that one I noticed, which just has a 9th grade.
The temporary, yeah.
So if you could kind of look at all of those and try to back up your argument, like mostly the argument I would want to hear from is, what is your catchment area? Because that's a question that is being raised, it seems, from what I'm reviewing from the opposition.
Mhm.
What is your catchment area, and the location of this high school is will be targeted towards this catchment area, and thereby therefore you're relying on the mode of transportation, which is mostly public transportation dependent,
Mhm.
and that this is not going to be where buses or
There-
that's another question. Will you be having bus drop-off,
No,
school
and-
bus drop-offs or not?
There will be no, so just to sort of take that in reverse order, there will be no school buses, no private buses. That is not going to be part of this school. The catchment area for here is Upper Manhattan and Inward and Upper Manhattan community. The Zeta schools are designed to be neighborhood schools, right? Students are accepted by random lottery, but there's a preference for students who live in the school district. So here that's Inwood and Washington Heights. There are schools from other zip codes, students from other zip codes, but this is a local school primarily. We can respond in writing sort of with a more fulsome response. Backing it up even further, we're happy to look into the modal splits at some of our other schools, but as you pointed out, those are going to be different because they're younger students. Zeta's Inwood Elementary is sort of a perfect storm of both younger students who are required to be dropped off by a parent, and so Zeta has worked really hard to get parents like in and out very quickly. But there is, of course, these are young kids and these are people in vehicles, and so it's imperfect. So that coupled with the adjacent uses, which are very vehicle intensive, and sort of contrast that with what Commissioner Otley Brown pointed out, that this school is in a very different location. We just don't have those factors here, but we'll certainly respond in writing, and we'll also look to our other schools. Excuse me. We'll look to our other schools to sort of further inform that position.
Okay, but the EAS does say that 36% are expected to come from the Bronx, correct? And some from Westchester, or did I misread that?
So
The the Westchester also.
yeah, so we do have students who are coming from out of Inwood. I think that it is up to, I'm just looking for my notes, 70% of the students are coming from Zeta Inwood School. So using that survey, yes, there are some students who come from the adjacent 3 zip codes in the Bronx. I don't remember the Westchester numbers, but I can also check that and respond in writing.
Perhaps what we're looking for more clearly is the catchment area and how those people from those different areas will be traveling to and from school.
Understood, and we can respond.
And the high schools, we typically see more public transportation by default, but middle school is that sort of gray zone where you may have some parents who are still picking up and dropping off their younger kids. So just all of that being more summarized in detail in the statement of facts will help, because the EAS, as we mentioned, is 12,000.
Super long. Okay, heard, and we are prepared to respond in writing to that. What we would propose, not to jump ahead, is that we're still waiting for DOT school safety's written response, which we understand is coming in May. So what we would propose to the board, if everyone's comfortable with this, is holding our submission in response to this hearing until we also have school safety's comments, making one fulsome submission ahead of our next hearing. Unless you guys want to see me twice, and then I'm always happy to come in.
That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, thank you very much. We have, I think, clear direction on what you'd like to see from us, and we'll be able to get it to you as soon as we have school safety's comments as well.
Okay.
Would you like to go to the public chair, or are there any more
Yeah,
comments?
I was just thinking if I want to ask this question. Okay, but I will hold off.
Okay.
Yes, let's go to the public.
If any member of the public would like to participate in this hearing and provide testimony, the application we are discussing is calendar number 2026-01BZ. The location is 4261 Broadway, Manhattan. You may connect via the Zoom. The webinar ID is 161-660-8514. The passcode is 593309. Or you may dial in. The phone number is 669-254-5252. Please enter the webinar ID 161-660-8514. Press pound, press *9 to raise your hand, and once you're called in, you can press *6 to unmute. We do have a number of participants. Someone's already raising their hand. I do see a member of the council member's office and the borough president's office, and I think we usually have those
Let's start
parties.
with the elected representatives
Yeah.
from the elected officials, then
Go
the community
first.
board, and then the.
Okay, so they're not raising their hand, but I'll promote Carmen De La Rosa's the council members
Yeah.
office, so I'll promote them, panelists, and see if they want to say anything.
Okay. Would you want to state anything, Councilmember De La Rosa?
So they're not responding, so the next, if you wanna, the next community board is Wayne Benjamin. So I'll promote that.
Who is?
Wayne Benjamin is from the community board, I know that.
Okay.
So I'm promoting him. And Mr. Benjamin, would you like to provide testimony?
I believe you've received the resolution, which was actually put together by the Land Use Committee, the Traffic and Transportation Committee, and the Health Environment Committee, and was adopted by the Executive Committee on this application. And in that resolution, which I believe you referenced earlier this morning in the review session.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Mr. Benjamin. Can you please state your name and
I'm
your
sorry.
position? And yes, exactly.
I am Wayne Benjamin. I chair the Land Use Committee for Manhattan Community Board 12, and I think I've chaired it since 2003, so that's a long time. As I mentioned earlier, the community board, or 3 committees of the community board, reviewed the application. 2 of them met with the Zeta team and put together a resolution which the executive committee adopted because our general meeting is tonight. So the executive committee has the authority under our bylaws to adopt something on behalf of the board, but that resolution will be, affirmed by the board tonight and resent to BSA. And in that resolution, you will see the concerns are not at all focused on Zeta school or charter schools, although there is a reference, as you've mentioned, to concerns that our Youth and Education Committee have and others with the elementary school in Inwood. The focus of this resolution, which was not in support of the application, really dealt with traffic and pedestrian safety issues. And interestingly enough, the 34th precinct, which is also in the same block, made a point of attending the Land Use Committee meeting to express their concerns with that. So I understand that the BSA commissioners think this is an ideal site. Given its location, it's interesting to note that the police precinct thinks it is not an ideal site, probably for the very same reasons that you think it is an ideal site. We love the fact that the school includes the program space that really makes it for a very, rich learning environment. The concern is this is because of the heavy traffic on 181st Street and the heavy traffic on Broadway, not a great location for a school. And although it is often referred to as a high school, it goes from 6th grade to 12th grade. And when I was in 6th grade, when I graduated 6th grade, I was 11 years old. So it's an elementary school with a middle school and a high school. And perhaps the concern would be somewhat lessened if it was just high school, but it is not. And how those pedestrian and traffic safety issues can be addressed, perhaps they can be fleshed out more, but at this juncture, I don't think there are any committees of the board or the input that we've received from the public, from the NYPD, and for that matter, from MTA and from the New York City Department of Transportation. None of them have provided the community board with input saying that they are comfortable with this site. We would be open to seeing and receiving that directly from them, that they don't have those concerns because there are means and methods of addressing that. But heretofore, we have received nothing that really shows this heavily trafficked site, and it is a heavily trafficked site, is a good location for a school.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I have added Arthur Nevins.
Okay.
Arthur Nevins is actually with Zeta School as an employee, so I don't believe he is here to speak.
Okay, he did have his hand raised, but okay.
Sorry, Art, we did have.
Hi, I'm a parent from Zeta. I just want to say hi, my name is Kataja Townsend. I'm a Manhattan resident and mother of Zayden, a 7-year-old, a second grader at Zeta Inwoods. He started with the program in kindergarten, and it has been an incredible experience for Zayden. Right before kindergarten, we lost Zayden's grandma, making a difficult transition to school that much harder. He was emotional, didn't want to go to school, and I was still grieving as well. I was juggling a lot of our emotions, trying to make sure we got to work in school on time. The staff at Zeta stepped in with their arms open. They created a safe space where he could open up and help him navigate his feelings. He learned he could trust his teachers. They spent extra time to calm him down and to get him comfortable coming to class. That personal support continued through first grade and made it all the difference. Zayden also has asthma and had spent a lot of time in the hospital. The principal and staff have been incredible, accommodating absences, staying in touch, and making sure he doesn't fall behind. Zayden has also been offered after-school tutoring and before school, which helps Zayden exceed his reading goals and make him have big improvements in math. Math is his favorite subject. He's on the chess team as well, and he loves soccer. Those activities give him goals to work toward and help him focus. Because of everything Zeta has done for Zayden emotionally, academically, and practically, I've recommended the school to my family. My uncle now has both his daughters in the school who has also made great progress still joining. His oldest would be going to Zeta High School eventually if you guys were to open it. If you want a school that makes your child feel comfortable and confident, support them through challenges and helps them thrive in and out of the classroom, Zeta Charter School is where I send them. I hope more families get to experience Zeta for themselves. For all these reasons, I support Zeta's building a new middle and high school facility in Upper Manhattan, West 181st Street and Broadway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. The next person I had added Anthony Viola. Okay, hi. Please state your name.
Sure. Hi there. I'm Anthony Viola. I'm the chairperson of Community Board 12 Manhattan. My remarks were largely covered by Wayne, who, as he noted, is the chair of our land use committee. I do just want to point out a few additional things that were documented in the letter that we submitted to the BSA. Primarily that first, 181st Street does serve as a vital driving route for Washington Heights. I do want to put on the record for the commissioners and the chairperson that this street is very close to the George Washington Bridge. And so the additional driving route and the increased traffic that would be expected after the construction of this site, it does raise a significant concern to the community. And again, I believe my colleague had noted that. The other piece I do just want to flag, because the chairperson had mentioned it, is yes, while our executive committee was the one that voted on the resolution for submission to the BSA, the resolution was also reviewed, as my colleague Wayne noted, by 3 of our standing committees. And so at least 30 of the board members of the community board, 12 members, had an opportunity to review the materials, provide input, and then vote on the matter. So that does constitute a majority of the board. Now, of course, we are voting on it tonight at our general meeting. That would be ratifying the opinion of the board. But I do just want to express that it was not a minority that has voted on this matter. A majority has, and all of whom voting on this has agreed that we should oppose the special permit. And with that, I will leave the rest of my time.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
My reason for stating the executive committee, it's just part of our standing thing whenever we do get recommendations from the full board versus executive, we just want it on record. So that's why it was stated. It was for no other reason.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carmen De La Rosa and.
I will note that Carmen De La Rosa's office said that they will send in a letter. They just are listening.
Okay.
Okay, Emily Kim has her hand raised.
Yes, hello. I think somehow my name is on another square with their hand raised. That's not me.
Oh, okay.
But I do appreciate brief time. I'm Emily Kim. I head Zeta Charter Schools. It's been the most incredible honor and privilege to be leading the Zeta Inwood Upper Manhattan School, and to see our kids. We accepted kids at kindergarten, first grade, and to see them age up. Our grades have aged up with them. We have now reached high school grades. As you noted, we are opening our first 9th grade, which is incredibly exciting. Our kids are achieving at extraordinary levels, and we also provide robust whole child education. You've heard from one parent, and there may be a few others today as well, around the incredible impact that excellent education has had on their child's life and their child's trajectory. If you live in New York City, there are not enough schools, excellent middle schools and high schools for children. We have made a commitment to families to bring excellent education through 12th grade, and we have been looking for a site for quite a long time. We're very excited about this site, and we do believe that we have addressed the concerns that I've raised, primarily by virtue of the fact that the school is a middle and high school. And, in New York City, I'm a mom as well. Kids in middle school and high school self-drop off and self-dismiss, and so they are not driving. Most high schoolers don't even have driver's licenses, and so we're really talking about children who are coming on foot and via public transportation. And so we do not believe that there will be the kind of traffic issues that the community board has raised concerns about. So we do understand it, and we want very much to work in close collaboration with the community. But it is very important to us and to our families that we continue through 12th grade so that their children have the best possible futures. Every child deserves access to free, excellent education, and that is our commitment to this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So there are 2 individuals in the room that have not raised their hand. One is Kiana Diaz. The other has a phone number ending in 3358. Do you want to provide testimony if you can hear us?
Has Arthur Nevins spoken?
Yeah, Arthur Nevins spoke, and Emily Kim appears in several boxes, so I'm not sure why, but,
If I may, I will note, I
Oh,
think some
okay.
of our parents had asked for links to join, so they may be showing up under other registered folks. So I think
okay.
Emily and Art showing up are Zeta parents who would like to.
Okay. All right. I'll ask them to unmute. I'll do the first Emily Kim, who may be someone else, understood. I'll ask them to unmute, but.
I did. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, why am I seeing, okay, I have.
You have several Art Nevins and several Emily Kims because the links were shared. We apologize for the confusion.
They are parents of students, but they're not.
Jolene.
Yes, I'm a mother. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please state your name for the record.
Of course, yes. My name is Delfina Adol, and I'm a proud mother and also community member from the Zeta School. So we are a resident of Manhattan, especially Inwood location. And Danny is a wonderful and curious child that has also diagnosed under the autistic spectrum. And when we arrived to Zeta, we have been receiving incredible support and resource for him to thrive. So before Zeta, Danny has the struggles with communication. My husband is German. I'm from Dominican Republic. And we have many languages around the house. So for him, it was overwhelming to communicate in English. And also, he got a limited of vocabulary when he actually was arriving to Zeta. And we was worried about his progress, the struggle that he has with socialization, and also the behavior issues that he presents at that time. And to be honest, it was dismissed from other schools because he didn't have the skills that was required and necessary. So when we was able to be part of Zeta, we received not only the support from the teachers, but also a dynamic intervention and support that allowed him to get quickly evaluated and also implement an individualized educational program that was tailored to his needs. And now he's not only doing great, he's actually able to communicate. They use the structure and tools for him to succeed, and he's really thriving. And that's something that I would really want and deserve for every child and every even middle school kids in the community, especially with this new building. So Zeta not only support us beyond academic, they also provide from us consistency and emotional support that can actually make a significant impact. Danny right now adjusts to the school environment. He enjoys education. He feels safe and he feels comfortable. And also we are feeling the same way. I have to step out from work in the past because of all the situations that he was presenting. Now, because of the support, I'm able to go back to work. And that is something that will help my family as well. So having him driving and also having him receive all the support and the help, and also discover new subjects that he's became now attractive and he feel in love, which is science. Now he's fascinated with the solar system, and the school has provided him with a subject that is around that particular area. And that's how he learned how to read, how to communicate, because they implement something that was personalized, even though it was education cannot be like that.
Thank you so much for your testimony. But the 3 minutes that each person gets is run out, but that was very good. Thank you so much.
Would else like to speak? We have a phone number ending in 3358. You can press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute.
Got hands up.
We have Emily Kim. Yeah, if you could please state your name.
Hi, my name is Jose Gutierrez.
Thank you. You'll have 3 minutes.
My son is currently in Zeta Inwood. When my son started going to school, he was scared. because he has ADHD. He was diagnosed while attending Zeta. Zeta has not only helped him dramatically, they have built a system around him to make sure he's comfortable. He's able to go to class feeling loved, able to learn. He went from reading below level to now actually being able to read. He's able to do math on his own now. He actually went from me having to take him up every day to class to now he's an independent child that has the support of his teachers, not only inside of school, but also when he comes home, his teachers will reach out to make sure he's all right. My son also has asthma, and they make sure he's being taken care of. If he needs anything, they're on point, calling me. They care about him. I think we need more educators in a system like this, not only until 5th grade, but moving on forward. I think the community will benefit from this. I am a person that was born and raised in Washington Heights. I also work in my community. I am a mailman in my community. I strongly believe that this will benefit not only my child, but every child of Washington Heights, every child of Inwood will strongly benefit from having a school like this and a system in place where people care about them, are willing to go the extra mile, that will reach out and find out how your child is doing, that will call you in the morning and see if your child is going to make it on time and why they're late and if they come into school, that will remind you, how to help your child. If they see something wrong, if they think something is going on, I could reach out to my son's teachers and they're available after hours. They don't have to do this, but they care enough that they're there for my children. So moving forward, I think I would like my son to be in an environment within his own community that he doesn't have to travel far. Having ADHD be, getting on a train when he could be within walking distance or just take a bus, and get there to Zeta and to Zeta Junior High School, going on to high school.
Mr. Gutierrez, thank you so much for your testimony. That was very helpful. The 3 minutes are up, but thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So there are some more people with their hands up, but I'm not sure if they haven't spoken yet. Could someone please confirm? If you have not spoken and would like to speak, could you?
Hi, I have not spoken. My name is Raphael Kobe. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for stating your name. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Raphael Kobe. I do have my daughter, Isabel Kobe, at Zeta. I moved her from a different school to Zeta because Zeta is truly the right environment for her. During COVID, I noticed how she was struggling with reading, with math, but I knew she's a girl full of energy, full of passion for justice, right? And for excellence. But she just wasn't up to par. So when I took her to Zeta, in the 3rd grade, she struggled a little bit in the first couple of semesters. But, with some help from me and also mainly from the teacher because of the way, she will come to school. In the morning, they will have clear goal established for her. When leaving from school, they will remind her of those goals for tomorrow as well. They will celebrate her. So that created an environment so welcoming, so encouraging that she quickly embodied the Zeta culture, and the structure, the discipline that the school has put in place has allowed her to now really strive in math, in reading, in science. But not just that, the school also have an after-school program that truly prepares those kids for the professional workforce because of this whole soft skill development. I can see her facing challenges, meeting with other children that have different culture, different value, And I can see her rejecting some and accepting others, really sorting through those complex human behavior. And it's amazing. She's now a critical thinker. I will have discussion with her. She will challenge some of the points I'm making. This is pretty impressive. You know, in science, they will ask questions and probing questions. To me, when I look at her through Zeta, she's literally someone that's being built as if she was at MIT or Stanford, at Berkeley, Georgia Tech. That's basically what it takes to be able to thrive in college. And they are already getting a college education, top college education already at that stage. So having a high school in New York, in Manhattan, where we live, it's like literally having MIT right here. So if you guys can do something to really help establish the high school here for us, it will be a game changer, not only for us as Zeta family members, but also for the whole community, because those people will come back and really reinvest in the community and really make New York City, you know, a true city of innovation and success. So that's all I'm going to say. Again, I will say this is a total package. There is Zeta and there's any other charter school. Again, I'll repeat that. Help us out. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker, we have
Kiana,
We have Kiana. Okay.
would you like to speak, Ms. Diaz? There's also a phone number, 3358. It looks like no one else is raising their hand. Would you? Okay.
You know, I have to say, I appreciate everybody's feedback that we have received today, and also the submissions that we have received, both for and against. And I would, again, encourage all concerned parties, if you have any additional thoughts and ideas or concerns, please do share that, and we do review all the comments. You can submit at bsa.nyc.gov. Thank you for all your participation and your feedback. It's helpful. Mr. Schneckenberg.
Just also want to thank everybody for participating. You know, the community board has had several meetings on this, and we really appreciate their participation as well. They're, you know, we've had great conversations. We will have more conversations. So we want to thank them for coming as well. And I think we would request to be sort of on the calendar maybe a month after the DOT submits its written comments, if that's okay for the board.
Do you know when you're expecting a comment from DOT?
The May 13th was mentioned.
That will take you to June 15, 16?
Assuming that those comments are in, or that the board's, okay, that would give us, you know, we can respond to DOT's comments within a week, so the board will still have 3 weeks to process, if that's okay with the board, or we could take the following hearing, if that's
You can
better.
do it on June 1st or 2nd also, that's fine.
Okay.
Provided you can, please do coordinate with with the project manager. I think in this case, yours is
Ms. Morris.
Jessica Morris. If you think you would need a little bit more time, we can try to we'll try to schedule it for 15, 16.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
The submission date for June 1st, 2nd is May 14th, but I will give you an extra week till May 21st to make a submission.
We appreciate that time. Thank you.
So June 1st and 2nd, and then May 21st due date, potentially. Okay.
Correct. And the only time the only reason we would ask for time is if DOT doesn't make that that May 13th submission, we would ask for to be bumped to the next hearing. But otherwise, we look forward to speaking with you all then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we finished with the discussion?
Yes. Thank you. And
Thank you.
for
Thanks,
your
everybody.
and that's end of today's. The month of April went by.
Thank you. This concludes the public hearing for BSA.
Thank you.
Have a
all.
good day. Thank you so much.